This Sneaky Friday, the mother.
You think my life is perfect?
The daughter.
You couldn't last one day in my shoes.
Key?
The switch.
You're in my body and I'm in your body. I'm like the Crypt Keeper!
To switch back, they'll have to live each other's lives.
Where's Harry's school?
We can walk from here.
It's 20 blocks.
Run fast.
And connect in ways they never thought possible.
Why don't we, adult?
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Welcome back.
Oh, boy.
Pete, it's Friday. Would you say it's Freaky Friday?
It's been a little freaky today, but I think it's about to get a little freakier.
I don't know if when we woke up this morning as our regular selves, so
Unfortunately.
we did not switch places.
We ate so many fortune cookies for nothing. Listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. Devin Lotfi from the I Don't Want to Hear That podcast. Welcome back on.
Devin.
Devin, welcome. You were last on the show for Sleeping Beauty.
Do you have an anniversary coming up? Is it 4 years yet that you guys have been?
Our anniversary's in
Lord,
May.
I don't even know.
We hit
Muriel's wedding was that before?
We hit
COVID?
episode 200 a few weeks ago.
Muriel's wedding was pre-COVID.
Oh my gosh! That's when
Yeah.
it's been a blur. But I'm really proud of you guys. No, really,
Thank you.
it's been obviously everyone when I post on my stories, they'll just reply and be like, "Oh my god, that's such a brilliant idea for a podcast." It's really grown, and to see you doing your events and Q&As, I'm very proud, and it's only getting better from here on out.
Thank you so much. I do. It's funny because I think the name a lot of times hooks people. If people are not familiar with it, and will be like, "Oh, I'm a podcast. I have a podcast. You should listen." I'm like, "What's it called?" I'm like, "Movies That Made Us Gay." They're like, "That is brilliant." I'm like, "I know."
And I like to reference the Netflix show as a go-to
Right,
because
sure.
there are certain people, maybe my mom, who will just go, "Some movies can make you gay." Huh? It's like, no, Mom, it means what movies helped you come into your own as a gay.
The only time we've ever get trolled, and it's literally in 4 years, it's been 3 times. It's always A, on Facebook, and B, movies can't make you gay.
Right.
But it's all right, calm down.
But I'm confused. You said Freaky Friday. I thought you were doing another View from the Top.
This is View from the Top, episode part 2.
Retrospect.
There's so much to talk about.
Listeners,
I
whenever...
think that's what's making your podcast so brilliant. Obviously, you start with these pinnacles, but when you did She Devil, it's yes, you are going into the deep nitty gritty that needs to be covered.
We've got content to create. We got to do this once a week. We're like, okay, I guess my dinner with Andre made me gay.
We're gonna have Gwyneth reply to our Facebook story one of these days.
Every time Gwyneth does a Q&A, we just troll her with View from the Top questions. Yes, it's going to happen.
We're just going to bomb her. Yeah, I love it. Oh, goodness.
But no, speaking of my podcast briefly, yes, I'm so glad that after 4 years, I finally have you guys at least doing a rewatch and catching up with the comeback.
We're almost done with the comeback. We have one more episode left. I'm on the edge of my seat, Dev.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to have you guys on and discuss this.
We'll talk about it on your show. I am half of a fan of the so-called cringe comedy. I love the American Office, but the British Office is too much,
Yeah.
And that kind of I'm embarrassed for them. And I watch with my covering my eyes because it's so...
Right.
That feeling that you get. And the comeback is heavy with it, but it's just so good that that is an afterthought.
I think in the interim before season 2, Lisa said, despite being disappointed and everything, she said one day she just had an epiphany where it was like, I get it. People will watch men in this situation.
Yeah.
But a woman, God forbid.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it extra hard.
We love to see Larry David act the fool and create these cringe moments.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Michael Scott and that kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll get her on. I hope so for the finale. I'm having ideas of a big party and WeHo, a finale. We'll see. Maybe get her on Zoom for a minute.
Yeah. Hey.
But the other day I posted Happy 60th Lisa and she wrote, "Thank you." So a little comment
on the radar.
She knows you exist.
On the radar.
Exactly. Yeah, so I know it's you gotta play it too.
Yeah. Oh man. All right.
Let's get into this week's episode.
Freaky Friday.
So We watched Freaky Friday,
Yes,
released
we did.
August 6, 2003, directed by Mark Waters. Second Mark Waters film. We have done Mean Girls
Only
on the
our
show.
second. I can't-
Mean Girls used to be our most downloaded episode.
Oh wow!
I don't
was
know if it's still
shocked
anymore.
that the other day I did a 20th anniversary takeover on my stories, and I had all this trivia, and I was shocked that most people didn't realize it's the same director as Mean Girls, because you wouldn't think how could one guy make two incredibly
back-to-back
huge,
Lindsay
iconic-
movies?
Yeah, I mean. And I mean, this movie, like, just to look back, the amount of money it made, like, it just makes you miss a time when it could happen.
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking and hearing about the sequel, which is wonderful, but then I think that I didn't even watch Disenchanted.
Right,
We
right.
haven't gotten to it either.
If Hocus Pocus 2 didn't get a theatrical release,
Yeah.
would they even think about that for Freaky Friday 2?
Right,
Like, you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other thing too is that this property, the Freaky Friday name, this is the second of 4.
Oh my gosh, I know. We were talking
Iterations.
Are we even counting Freaky the serial killer movie?
No. I'm just saying movies called Freaky
Yes.
Friday
Yeah.
with a mom and a daughter switch. The Disney, I don't know, I think it was Disney Plus already when they released the most recent one.
the musical one.
Is it a musical? I don't even know.
There-
I just know that there's
so
one on
that
Disney
was a
Plus.
musical a couple years ago.
Okay.
And then there's the Jodie one that you caught up on. And then I was saying that there was a Shelley Duvall, Gabby Hoffman.
Yes,
Shelley Long.
what?
Shelley Long, I'm sorry. From
Yep.
which some people say is the inspiration for Valor.
There's a little bit of Shelley Long in there.
And if you look at that True
Yep.
Beverly Hills wig and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
little
yeah.
Leaving TV, I mean, I don't
Love
like
it.
to get into it, but
Lead
it's,
of
but it's
a-
just nothing. It's
Lead of a
no-
workplace sitcom, sure.
Right. It's
Yep.
nothing like I'm not saying anything mean. It's just those have been the
No, yeah.
rumors,
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
But that's the one thing. When Disney Plus was coming to fruition, I was like, it's got to be all or nothing. I want Parent Trap 4, Hawaiian Vacation.
Oh, same.
You know, where's the Turquoise Sins, whatever.
Yes.
So, you know, the fact that you can't find some of these TV movies, you know. It's,
Yeah.
And
It's
I
weird.
noticed, though, when I Googled the poster for the 1995 one, it was that same purple and green kind of poster style.
Oh, that's
So I thought that was
interesting.
kinda
Yeah.
neat that somehow
And was that
carried
a
over.
Disney Channel or an ABC Family?
Disney
At
Channel,
least
yeah.
Disney
Disney Channel original
Okay.
movie? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Freaky Friday as a property has been around obviously since 1971 with the original. And
The book, right?
It was a book first, and then
Because the movie came out the same year as Taxi Driver, so that's like 77, 78.
That would have been
No, way
76.
before that. Yeah, 76.
No, but
I
yeah,
think.
Jodie was.
Jodie was 13. She turned 14 on the first movie, and I believe it was 76.
I want to say Taxi Driver 76, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Freaky Friday, yeah, 1976.
So, well, my point was
Taxi Driver is 76. Did them both in the same year.
sure. So, but I mean, up until this point, they had just been remaking this property with new people. Throwing Shelley. I was going to say Duvall again. Long. Thank you. Jamie Lee Curtis and whoever was in the Disney Plus musical version. But now I think this is the one that deserves a proper sequel.
Yeah.
Yes.
With bring back Jamie Lee, bring back Lindsay.
It's very rare in general across genres to think of remake is better, but in doing my research, people really do think this is better than
Okay,
the
Sure.
1976.
Sure.
We did a watch of the 1976 one, a movie that I was not sure if I had ever actually sat down and watched, or if I just seen clips of it on the Disney Channel when I was a kid.
The original version.
Yeah.
Because little itsy bitsy Jodie Foster at 13, when I was a little kid and was introduced to that, I was like,
You even knew Gay Icon.
yes.
Yep.
Yes. I was like, work, bitch. You are the queen of looks. You are. I kind of, because Jodie Foster, especially at that age, all throughout her entire career, had a little bit of an androgynous thing going on. So much like a friend of ours who remained nameless and thought that Joaquin Phoenix was cute as a girl or a boy, I thought that Jodie Foster, I was like, she is a little cute little boy. As a little kid, I'm thinking this, right?
She kind of had a Kristen Stewart vibe going on with her when she was little.
And I just thought it was a cute movie in general. It's so interesting as we were watching it. We won't talk too much about the original. We're focusing on Jamie Lee and Lindsay. But 1976 Disney live action movie. It's really straddling the line of like a modern movie, but it really feels like, is this the 60s?
Well, you're right, because
This
I
shit
think
looks
Freaky
old.
Friday, and I'm thinking that's got to be Haley Mills era, right?
It feels,
61?
it
No,
feels
it's-
old.
yeah,
It feels like Parent Trap
Right,
era.
right, yeah.
But it's fully the later half of the 70s, right? Like I'm born like the next year and a half. But it just
You don't look
feels dated. Well, thank you. It just feels so dated, but it's charming. Obviously, it's like the whole idea is they didn't even care about making like a fortune cookie or like a tiki god or like something. It was just like we should trade places, and then they just do. You know,
and you get that really.
Do they wake up,
and
or
you
is
get
it like
that,
just in
you
the
get
middle
that
of the
really
day?
cool shot
Oh, wow.
It's the
of them
middle-
like.
It's the middle of the day. Jodie Foster's at like a diner, like a Denny's, sitting at the counter eating a banana split, and the mom is just like smoking a cigarette in the morning over the dishes, and they're just like, that little bitch. She thinks that her life is so easy. We should change places. And they say it, and they do a split screen saying it at the same time, and then they just flip. And that's it.
How do they get back?
They pretty much do the same thing.
They do the same thing.
They're so frazzled in their new life that they're just like, well, I sure learned my lesson, and then they just flip back.
I definitely saw it a long time.
Yeah. But then the other thing is that not only did Freaky Friday have like a whole slew of remakes, it kind of started this genre where
The
there's
body
now, like,
snatching movie.
What's
Body
the
switch
Judge
movies.
Reinhold? Vice versa.
Judge
right?
Reinhold
Is that
and Fred Savage
Okay.
are in Vice
I don't know if
Versa.
that
What
a
was the
big
other?
hit.
What was the other one that was competing
The
against
other one
it?
was like Father Like Son, and
Father
that
Like
was
Son, yeah.
Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. These are all movies from my era when I was a little kid. They are hot trash,
Yeah.
both of them. The Kirk Cameron Dudley Moore one is like unwatchable. The Fred Savage Judge Reinhold one is okay, but let me tell you this hot take.
So you're saying? Oh, sorry. But you're making
Sure.
me think. Even something like Big, you could say. Was
Oh, yeah.
inspired
Oh, absolutely.
by
Yeah, definitely.
Freaky Friday, 17 again, all that. You know, that is kind of its own little.
Yeah,
genre
17
to
again
itself.
later on, which I mean,
Speaking of 17 again, I know that we'll get into it later, but Michelle Trachtenberg could have been the Anna character, and it almost happened.
oh really?
Yep.
She read for Anna.
She was, I think, more or less cast, and she couldn't do it due to Buffy commitments.
Okay. And in the book, I believe, and in the Jodie Foster version, the character's name is Annabelle. And I mean, it was 1976, so the mom didn't really have a job.
Yeah,
She was just like,
and I think
this washing machine.
And I think that's what's really fun
really hard to use
about
a washing machine.
The update is that you can get the mom out of the house.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Barbara Harris is really funny in the movie.
Oh, she's
I
so
wouldn't
funny.
say underutilized because I think that they have fun with her. I just want her to get out of the damn house.
Sure.
Of that movie.
Yeah.
I was worried of when we began the movie. I was like, "Fuck, are we picking the wrong Freaky Friday to like talk about
Should
and
we
like
really be
focus on?
focusing on the
Should
old
we
one?
really be focusing on the old one because you get like Jodie Foster, lesbian icon, but about halfway through, I'm just like, okay, the remake is better.
the remake is better. It's more fun. It's more.
The remake is a better pass of the material.
Yeah.
Was that your hot take, or
No, well,
Okay.
my hot take was just about the Judge Reinhold Fred Savage version. I already forgot the name of it.
Vice versa.
Vice versa. My hot take was, I know Fred Savage is like beloved, The Wonder Years, we love it, you know, icon, classic. He's insufferable as a little kid actor. You want to shake him. You want to shake him. He's just so like, I don't know, like snotty, and like he's doing this weird like Brooklyn accent, and it's like, dude, you're from Reseda. Stop
Sure.
with this kind of talk, you know.
Baby Bobby De Niro or something.
Yeah, you know. And I remember really just liking it as a kid, but it was only because I was his age. So I was like, all right.
Well, it's funny if you say that. If we're going to compare it to Lindsay, because I remember watching this with my dad, and he knew how much I loved Jamie back then. And with his accent, he was like, you know, Devin, the Jamie is good, but the Lindsay is so good. Like, and it was
sweet.
so like for
Yep.
him to be like, you know what,
Yeah.
like she's really holding this. I mean, Jamie's wonderful, obviously.
Sure.
But like to just acknowledge that a 16-year-old is
Sure.
like
Yeah.
so incredible.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I mean, you really believe that they switched. There are certain scenes where you're like, wait, like you really freaked out. No pun intended.
Okay. So I had some thoughts on this rewatch because I've seen this before. We
Yeah.
did a
Okay.
commentary for it on our Patreon, and yeah, it's great. Jamie Lee Curtis is funny, like funny. I'm getting some laughs out of like some of her reactions when she is Anna and in the body.
Well, I just wanted to say, as the Jamie Lee Curtis aficionado,
Sure.
I wanted to get this out before we got into the nitty gritty of the movie
Yeah.
because I remember after H2O, there was virus that bombed. Things got stagnant. Halloween Resurrection was the end of the world.
What was she doing in the early 2000s besides that?
That's it. And I remember she was on Oprah or something because she did that More magazine where she was just completely in her bra and panties showing the world, this is me. This is
More magazine. I remember More magazine.
Meanwhile, what was she? 42? How old was she even?
She was 44.
44.
Yeah.
And that was her brave moment of like, look at me in the bra and panties.
I remember she said, I have not headlined a movie in a long time. And days after she did that terrifying shoot, she got this.
Yeah.
And
Annette Bening dropped out.
Right. I mean, which was such a weird blessing, you know. And she picked this up within days.
As the story goes, Annette Bening was always meant to be... Who's the mom character? She was always meant to be Tess pretty much since they began developing it.
Well, not until I posted that question the other day. I guess Jodie was at least scouted.
Yes, she was offered it, and she said no.
Yeah, because that would have been maybe fun in a way to have that. But she maybe still would have been... No, she played a mom in Panic Room. She wasn't like super...
I think she just said that the casting would be too distracting for audiences in the movie.
Yeah.
I think that Jodie...
Because she's too famous.
I think Jodie just didn't want to do it. Which, to be fair, that's fine if you don't want to be in it.
Yeah, and people always complain about Hannibal. I'm like, she won an Oscar for that role. Why risk messing anything up or doing
I mean, it's not like Nim's Island was anything great that she would do a few years later. It's like, I think that you could have fit in the Parent Trap remake. But they had Annette Bening, and something came up. Annette Bening had to skip out. I mean, maybe
might have been being Julia.
A week before production. I think it was probably family issues.
Oh, okay.
So she exited the movie, and Jamie was offered it very last minute. I mean, pretty much just walked onto set and memorized her lines, and she was good to go.
Yeah, and I think she said there was a point where maybe her and someone was having creative differences, and she said she was like, "Listen, this is what I'm bringing to the table."
Sure.
I think
okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that I watched that. I think it was this is my career, GQ or Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that Mark Waters kind of commented of, you're really swinging for the fences for this movie.
Because Annette might have kept it a little more grounded.
I think that he was okay, you can maybe scale it back. And she's just nope. It's I'm really going there.
My thought process, not having read either of those articles, my thought process was it made me think of the latest Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And that the bad reviews that I read were Zachary Levi is playing a different character than that little boy that he's supposed to be an aged up version of. Mm-hmm. When the little kid is a kid, it's a totally different performance than what Zachary's giving. Zachary Levi's giving oh shucks, I'm a little boy. I stepped on gum, But the other kid is now 18.
Yeah,
right.
And it kind of made me think of that because I was like, she's not giving me Lindsay, but she's still giving me a kid.
Yeah,
and it's fun
and it works.
It's funny to me.
Yeah,
so I'm I don't care that I'm not it's exactly Lindsay because she would be whack.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't know that Anna would have said whack or whatever. But still, her reactions to Mark Harmon, her reactions to the brother.
When she's I want to marry him. Ew. Like that. It's those
ew. Yeah, all that shit. So I was less concerned that she didn't really study Lindsay's ins and outs or whatever, because that wasn't the biggest sin. She was making me laugh, and to me that's the highest. So I was okay, as long as I'm laughing, I'm still in it, and I don't care because
Golden Globe nominated performance.
I'm telling you, the Crypt Keeper line alone, get the hell out of here.
Still makes me laugh
every time.
But so as someone who pretty much the first question I ask anyone I meet is, what do you think about Jamie Lee Curtis? What I realized after this movie had came out and years went by, it was such a divide between her past and her present.
Sure.
Because of Freaky Friday, an 8-year-old knows who Jamie Lee Curtis is, And of course the new Halloweens have brought her back, but during that time, that really let her cross the generations. And even the next year, this would certainly have led to Christmas with the Cranks, which while it was trash critically, people loved that movie and it did well.
Gets rerun on AMC every year.
Yeah. So I feel like that was her big juggernaut, Freaky Friday and Christmas with the Cranks. And then things did slow down for a little bit. Until You Again.
Okay.
I remember messaging you about You Again. I'm are we sleeping on this movie? Is this Secret Masterpiece?
And I was just no.
Do I need to re-examine it? Okay, that's good.
Oh my God.
Where did you first see the Freaky Friday?
Me?
Where did you first see Freaky Friday?
Theaters.
This version saw in theaters.
Any memories of going to this in the theater?
I remember just being so excited to have her, back on screen. I was such a new baby fan. And what's funny is I had lunch with someone today, and I was telling about tonight. She was like, "Well, is there a lot of gay subtext in Freaky Friday?" And I'm like, "It's more about the fandom of Jamie and Lindsay, and like you said, you guys just did a deep dive on her music, like what she really embodied for us, and so definitely theaters. Probably, I might have only saw it once in theaters, but
I saw this movie with my best friend. We were about to go to Prince of Wales Island in Alaska, and we were
as you do.
We were in Billings, Montana, just the night before our flight, and we went to this movie. So I always remember seeing this with my best friend.
Mm-hmm. I missed it in theaters. You were too cool. Too cool. I was too adult weirdo going to Freaky Friday in 2003.
Well, I think you do bring up a good point. There is that moment in middle school or high school where you're like, I'm too cool.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even with Lilo and Stitch, I felt like I was kind of getting older, and then I saw it like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Oh, right.
My whole life's changed. It's like, even I just told him that I watched Iron Giant for the first time. I've never gotten so many angry DMs. I think I lost my film credit card completely. I should never have admitted that.
It took me a really long time to finally get to Iron Giant as well.
So, yeah, it's like Freaky Friday is a perfect PG movie where in that it still caters to, like I said, an 8-year-old could watch that movie and enjoy it, but also an adult is not going to be cringing because it just, even the moment, sorry to go too deep, but like with the brother at school, like it's not sappy. Like you get emotionally involved without it feeling, what's the word? Like manipulated.
Sure. And that's a beat that's in the original. Mm-hmm. So, her and the brother have a very antagonistic relationship, but later on she finds out as the mom that, that the brother really loves her and idolizes Annabelle and all that. So I like that they brought in certain beats from the original that they kept in this one.
For the listeners who love the soundtrack as much as I do, Urban Outfitters has an exclusive right now. It's coming out September 1st. Did you see it?
I saw it.
It's gorgeous. It's the purple and green vinyl, and oh my god.
Is it a colored vinyl?
Yes.
Like the disc?
There's
that's
two discs,
cool.
and one is purple
gosh.
and one is green, and I'm like, this
I
is...
love that.
Yeah. I mean, that soundtrack must have cost a pretty penny. Granted, no one was huge, but you've got, like, you know, Ashley Simpson.
They got Joey Ramone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, doesn't he do What a Wonderful World?
It's a Wonderful World, but it's a cover, which are always cheaper. But it's Joey Ramone, though.
Is it the Ramones, or is it just Joey?
I think it just might be Joey.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, and you can't also just gloss over Lindsay singing on this.
Yeah, how have you guys been enjoying your Lindsay deep dive?
So,
okay, well, first of all, we just have to get a little bit into the movie here. Anna, the character that Lindsay plays.
You have a lot of thoughts about Anna's band.
Okay, all right. So Anna is, a high school student. She is, she's literally holding onto her bed frame, will not get out of bed. Scott's like, couldn't be me. Has to get up, watch a Golden Girls after the shower.
I have to get up immediately, take a shower.
Yeah. I wake up with the smallest amount of time between getting ready and walking out the door. Okay. That is me. So I'm already on Anna's side here.
I'm getting up in my giant nightgown.
Yes. I completely love the idea of a movie, a Disney movie in particular, trying to make a kid edgy. Mm-hmm. And so, like, Lindsay as, like, this edgy girl. And what is 2003? 2003. So, edgy girl in 2003. The costuming on Lindsay, I cannot...
It takes me back.
...express how much I love... She looks like trash, but I love... Just the details they put in, these cut-off high-water, like, dicky pants, the amount of tank tops.
I remember girls in my high school trying to recreate this look of Anna and her friends, but they couldn't quite get it this polished just partly because they are styled by, like, Hollywood stylists.
And
so,
you lived in the middle of Montana.
And we lived in the middle of Montana.
Yeah.
But I remember girls trying to get this look on all of them.
Yeah. So
they turn their shirt inside out.
I mean, yeah, the layer upon layer, and ladies out there who lived through the early 2000s, you understand the layering of the tank tops and the camisoles. It was a big deal. All right, but okay, so she's in this band, Does the band? Oh, the band. Oh, the name of the band, the Pink Slips. I was like,
That's a good name.
oh my god. I'm like, should I be blushing at the name, the Pink Slips?
How is that not? How is that not already like a girl riot band?
The Pink Slip, but it almost sounds like. Is it vulgar? Do I have a dirty mind? I don't know. So she's in the Pink Slip or the Pink Slips. I don't know. But her mom, she may think her mom is an asshole, but her mom lets her band play in the garage.
Take over the full
whole
garage.
thing.
Could you imagine?
I'll just park my Mercedes in the street. Daughter, go ahead, take it over. First of all, anybody who knows anything knows that you practice at the drummer's house. That poor slob should not have to take apart, break down, and put back together his drum kit every time you practice. This is selfish, Lindsay. Come on.
Well, I hope that the drummer is leaving it all at
examine
her
your
house.
life. No, he put it in his shitty
Oh, he
Ford
did?
Aerostar minivan. That was the whole gig. That's why he has the van, to bring the drums back and forth. Second of all, if you are a sophomore in high school and you are shredding on the guitar, melting faces, I mean, this is the greater Los Angeles area. Someone should be, much like Saved by the Bell's famous episode, rockumentary,
Zack Attack.
the Zack Attack. Somebody's going to be jogging by, say, "Hey, I heard your band, and you, Missy, are rivaling."
We're going to sign you this afternoon.
She's like rivaling Steve Vai with these like instrument, like these solo licks. She's like killing it out there with, she's like Slash. Like Slash is like, wow, that's pretty okay. In other words, she's really good.
So
Yeah,
is
she's
Christina
good.
Vidal
Christina
not?
Vidal?
Is she
I love
not
her.
that actress? Is that like were they lip syncing or is she?
Oh,
I don't
she's singing the song?
I don't think she's the vocals.
Okay,
Oh, I
that's
don't
what
know.
I was wondering.
I don't know.
her.
Maybe she is.
Yeah,
It's
I should know that.
Lindsay,
I
so I
feel
would
bad.
think that they would let her sing.
So I was reading that friend role was offered to Kelly Osbourne.
Oh,
and she couldn't do it due to commitments to the reality show.
Jeez.
And she, I think, has said that she regrets not doing the movie.
Yeah, that would have been real fun. I know. I remember loving her "Papa Don't Preach" cover. I don't know if you guys
remember.
that.
She
I
performed it on the
do.
I know
MTV
that's
Movie
blasphemous,
Awards.
but it was
Yep.
good.
No, it was cute. It was
Yeah.
cute. Christina Vidal. Why do I feel like she had some sort of musically inclined like thing? I almost thought she was in the Cheetah Girls for a second. Then I was like, no, that's not her. Yeah, I just assumed she was singing because I felt like she had something that she had done.
Oh,
that
wait
was
a minute.
musical.
Christine Vidal's in Welcome to the Dollhouse?
Yeah, but she would have been like little.
Huh.
Like, look at her age. She would have been really like a little kid. She would have been like.
I wonder if she's just one of the sister's friends or something.
I think so. But yeah, this band is amazing. There's way too many of them. But I like that it's a girl band and the girls are all up front. They got boys, but they're just drum and bass. Get in the back. But yeah, I think it's kind of amazing that they don't even. She doesn't even really reference like I let you take over my garage. First of all, I feel like my parents would never let me live that.
Well, I
down.
think they do a good job of little moments where you really do see both sides. You
Sure,
don't feel like
yeah.
it's just Tess is evil. It's like I love when she realizes her door's not there. That scene is shot so great, like in the music, and she's coming down the stairs,
And she's just sitting there at the table.
It's like you're like, oh shit's about to go down.
Yes, yeah, love it. Yes, I like the way that they kind of made these two characters. They gave Lindsay like an angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the rock band angle, and I like that she is kind of like I said, the edging her out was a little much. The chunky highlights are maybe questionable, but it's a fun idea, and it gives her a good angle, and it gives her something to talk about with the boy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. In the original, Jodie Foster played lacrosse and water skied.
This just sounds like the boringest movie.
It was wild.
Field hockey.
Field hockey. I'm sorry, not
Yep.
lacrosse. It's field hockey and water skiing.
That water skiing
It's too
scene
much.
at the end of that movie, I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Why are we water skiing?
Sure. And okay, granted, the whole like we're auditioning for the locals only tent at Wango Tango. That is
Insane.
wild beyond like. I'm serious. Wango Tango is
Is that
like.
done?
Do they even do it anymore?
I remember before I lived here, I would hear like Britney's at Mango Tango, and I would get
I was
like,
gonna say
excited.
they get like fucking Britney Spears to go to Wango Tango.
Now, do you
That
think
was
it's
like-
like the iHeartRadio Fest?
It kind of is
that
that.
sounds right.
It's just
Yeah.
kind of that now.
It is, yeah.
Well,
That's
speaking
what
of,
it
I'm
was.
sorry. When did you live in LA for a much longer time, or your whole life?
I'm from LA.
Oh, okay. So you watch these movies. You're growing up. It's all a fantasy, and then now I'm watching it today. I'm like, I know where this is.
Yeah.
That's the promenade in Santa Monica.
Yes.
That's the Palisades.
Did you notice that Mark Harmon was driving on the?
He drove
on
his
the,
car right
on the
up to
promenade.
street. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
you're gonna
He
run
drops
someone over.
he drops her off on the promenade in
Yeah,
his
that's
car.
so funny.
He
That-
stopped-
that's,
yeah.
that's make believe.
right in front of one of the spitting dinosaur statues.
I've still never been to the
Topiary.
Sunset Tower, and I know it's like $500 for ice cream sundae. But
That's why we have never been to this.
but even then, I'm like, oh god. Well,
Yeah,
what's
that's the
House of
Sky
Blues
Bar.
now?
That's gone. I don't know. It's gone now. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
I remember. I think that House of Blues.
We live like 10 minutes away.
I think left a couple years after I moved here.
Okay.
I never got
But I
an
don't know what
opportunity to go.
replaced it. And they probably just raised the building because it's such a specific facade. I can't believe they would put like a Kinko's there. or
It's
something.
probably like fancy condos now or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to pause and just go to the Sunset Tower? And
Well, we'll
record
be
the
right
rest
back.
of this, and we'll just say, "Oh, we're doing promotion." We're freaking ready. We're like, "Oh, you know."
I was trying to see if they shot on the roof or if that is a set of Skybar.
I'm sure
I mean,
it's a set.
the view
Probably
is
a set.
gorgeous.
I'm sure
yeah.
it's a set, but
Is it really open to the air like that?
Yeah, they made it look like that because I was gonna, at the time. The Sky Bar was up there, and that was a very like exclusive, venue.
Tess and Mark Harmon are really shelling out for this.
They're dropping some cointadas on this wedding.
For this wedding.
Like, the amount of money that they're putting into this. I was having an argument with Scott over what would be more expensive, halibut or salmon. And Scott schooled me on why.
I think that halibut would be more expensive because they're usually like a wild caught from the ocean.
Sure.
I remember working at one of my first jobs was working at a retirement home in high school, and halibut would be served, and I was like, I actually know what that is when I watch this movie because,
I don't know why you would be serving fish at a wedding.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's funny, Mark Harmon, you were seeing some of the things Jamie was doing when things were slow. She did reunite with him on NCIS for a few episodes.
Sure.
I remember watching that, being excited. That was like a whole little Freaky Friday reunion thing. She did a few episodes with him.
that's cool.
Okay.
NCSI, yeah.
What an interesting career.
Fascinating
Jamie.
career.
Well, you're talking about Jamie, right?
Yeah.
So I know I don't want to turn this into the Jamie Lee Curtis podcast, but
okay.
when I went to the 35th anniversary screening of Halloween at the Egyptian, I went by myself. I think I couldn't get anyone to go with me, and I knew she was going to be there, which was a big deal. And she was very melancholy. She said, "In this town, you don't retire, you get retired." And
Sure.
I remember
Sure.
thinking, and then I'm like, I would love to just tell her that now if I had the chance because. How wonderful. I mean, I think it was like weeks later that Ryan Murphy probably called her and Scream Queens really set the course for the
Yes,
rest.
I feel like
I think
Scream-
it took her to this
No,
Oscar,
you're right.
really.
Like-
and to think that she thought she was done, it's like, you're never done in
Scream
this town.
Queens is
Yeah.
really what started
Yeah.
this
Her renaissance.
this renaissance
Yeah.
of her career. I mean, I feel like also just kind of realizing that the amount of coin that she can make for really leaning into the Halloween movies.
Well, that's what I told you the
Yep.
other day.
Yeah.
I said when the writer, I went to an H2O screening, 20th anniversary, and the writer said, she didn't need the money. She wanted the closure, and it was really, kind of hard for her to have to deal with the ending she didn't get and resurrection, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, poor Jamie. And I'm like, wait. The universe is funny. She got to come back. She made 3 movies. She doubled her net worth. She got what she deserved for being Laura Strode, and everything is.
And she
is
got
fine
Oscar at the
now.
end of the day.
I know.
Too. Yep.
Did I ever tell you after that Newsweek article that someone reached out to me? Did you know what my?
I remember the Newsweek article.
So I
Yep.
published an article in Newsweek about her, and I got a message from her publicist saying she wanted to send me something. I screamed, I cried, I woke up my roommate. But it was literally like moments after that all the Oscar buzz started. So I have not received anything.
Sure.
I don't,
Yeah. Understandable.
I don't need a gift. I love knowing she read it. I love to know what
she at least
thought.
knew
Yeah.
about the
Right,
article
right.
and
Yeah.
maybe read some of it.
Right, I'm like, I don't want to be
Yep.
that crazy person calling her publicist every day. Like, can you?
Never got my chocolate.
So it feels incomplete, but it's still really cool.
Sure.
But yeah,
Okay.
maybe
okay.
I'll tag her in this podcast and she'll listen.
Yeah. Okay, so I love Lindsay's arc in this, or not arc in this movie, but the character, like that she's got this point of view, and she's a teenage girl, but I do like that they edged her out because at least it gives her like I said, gives her a point of view. And so Tess as the mom, I'm like, okay, because I haven't rewatched this in a while since we did the commentary, so I'm like, okay. I know she's not going to be like Frazzled Housewife. And I remember that she had she was a therapist and she's got a book and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, mom's got her shit together. But then I was like, okay, I like that Tess is still kind of giving yeah, I'm an adult. Yeah, I'm a mom. I'm successful. I've got a book and all that shit. But fuck, man, sometimes I'm just trying to answer my phone while I'm driving my car. And you pop all 4 of your tires when you're driving.
I always think of her whenever I have to exit a parking lot with the spiky things. Yeah. I always think of this movie.
Yeah. And this movie makes me think back to the days of having multiple devices.
I was going to say that. Sometimes I feel like those things can date a movie, but in a way you're like, wow, okay, they were still, hip 20 years ago. Things were evolving because, it was the Palm Pilot, right?
Well, I mean, I know tons of people, but people
you
even
had your
in
Palm Pilot,
my
you had your cell phone
profession still have work phones.
Uh-huh.
Having 2 phones is kind of a thing now. With people have a work phone and a personal phone and all that. But yeah, having the Palm Pilot on top of that, it's like she had her therapist phone, her regular cell phone, and then her Palm Pilot, and then a pager. I was like, damn, girl, there's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, and it's like it's easy to see how her kids may think all right, lady, you calm down. What do you have to do? Just go sit in a chair and talk to people all day. But it's she's got stuff going on.
Now, did the late great Willie Garson steal the movie?
Oh yeah,
I totally forgot. I was watching that and I got sad.
I think that he had a very special episode this week on And Just Like That too.
I
haven't watched the episode yet.
People spoil that way too fast. I'm like, are you up at 3 a.m. waiting for HBO to refresh? Give me a break.
I hate that shit.
I know.
I read that today and we haven't gotten to it yet.
I was getting it with Star Trek. I'm getting it with Just Like That. I get it with Drag Race. You can't look at your phone after 11 p.m.
And my friend said it almost feels grimy, like they're just trying to go viral real fast.
Absolutely.
It's come on.
Absolutely.
So it's almost, I don't know.
It was good to see. It was good to see. Stanford.
Good to see Willie. Yeah.
Good to see Willie.
But Evan, right? And she says Kevin. He's like Evan or whatever. Yeah. He's. I love that. What's the line? He's like, well, this morning was fine, and then I woke up, or something like that. And also, I was going to say the just that little montage of the patients, the bumbling one who's
sure, just crying, yeah. And how does that make you feel? She's like, ah,
and then she's doodling on her binder, Jake. Yeah.
Love it.
How do we feel about the magical realism of when they go to Chinatown?
The Chinese restaurant?
The Chinese restaurant.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's problematic.
Guess what? The actress, I wrote it down.
Rosalind Chow or the older actress?
Rosalind Chow and Lucille
she was
Song.
recently on that interview, and she said, you know what? At first, I did think, is this cliche? And then she's like, you know what? No, that's how my dad was.
Sure.
That's how I approached these Americans. Sure. Like, hey, how are you? Blah, blah. Yeah. She was like, I took it and made it fun because I feel like, whether it was an Italian restaurant or whatever, maybe you would want that heightened approach.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not saying, this movie's not canceled, blah, blah, or anything like that, but, the fact that she was able to kind of own it, I felt like, okay, that can maybe keep people quiet.
I also think these are really fun character actresses, too. That I'm glad that they got the work.
I would like to give a shout-out to my girl, Rosalind Chow, Keiko O'Brien from Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Star Trek listeners.
She's worked a lot of stuff, too.
Yeah, she is married. On Star Trek, she is married to one of the most important characters in Star Trek history, one transporter chief and chief of engineering on Deep Space Nine, Miles O'Brien. And Keiko is a very important character, and she is a botanist, and we love her. and we stan Rosalind Chow.
But again, that's when it works, because she does break. She's like, I can't fix it. You can fix it. And that's a really kind of powerful moment. It gives you that little bit of all is lost feeling. I mean, I think that magical element, the music, and now you told me that there was a split screen in the first one.
Yeah.
So that kind of is a little throwback, and that works very well when they're reading it.
When they're on the other both of the sides of the bathroom door. Yeah, that's really.
And then it's like, despite this fight after that little earthquake, it's like they're still like, Mom.
Yeah, that was a fucking scary earthquake. Yeah.
And just to jump to the end in case I forget, that aerial shot of them switching back, it's beautiful. Yeah. And then
very well
apparently
directed.
Quentin Tarantino thought so as well.
Okay, so Quentin
he's
Tarantino,
talking about House of Blues scene, but in general, I think that's just the finale as a whole.
Sure.
said Mark Waters said that Quentin cornered him at a party and said that the way you did the Freaky Friday finale was just so brilliant, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I can't believe Quentin was fan geeking to me about Freaky Friday. Like, that's why I love when I sometimes see, I don't know really who runs the programming at the New Bev, but I'm like, I just like to think that, Quentin likes.
I think Quentin has his hands in some of it.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday's probably coming next month.
Okay, so Tess in this version, Tess is engaged to a man played by Mark Harmon, who this is going to be assuming her second husband. Anna and the little brother, their father is out of the picture. He is passed on, and so they go to the Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. In downtown Los Angeles.
Whenever we go to Chinatown, I always look in the window of this restaurant because this is an actual location. The restaurant is there.
Oh, wow.
I don't think anything's been in that space for a while.
I thought it's still something. I thought it was a thing that's only open for dinner hours.
I don't
or is that
know.
the one that's next door?
It kind of looked like it was in between ownership when we were there, but I don't know.
And I like
it's never open when we're there.
I'm sorry, is Mark's character named Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's not annoying. He's not the bad guy. He's really trying. Even with Lindsay, he's like, I already pre-ordered the blah, and she was nothing to do with it. But I think it's so funny. Something happens with the little brother, and maybe it's ice cream or what, and it's just such a great line. He's like, this whole dad thing could be hard, or it could be easy. Like, just of shutting him up.
Yeah.
And then we get Grandpa, played by Charlie from the Golden Girls.
You mean Miles from the Golden Girls?
Miles from the Golden Girls, excuse me.
Charlie's dead.
Charlie is dead.
One of Rose's long-term boyfriend on the Golden Girls.
I love his
Miles.
reaction to the little brother saying, I'm a walrus. And he's just like, not right now. Because it's like in the midst of them fighting and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they were going to do that little tag at the end. They were going to do a sequel, I heard, maybe.
Well, that's how the ending of the original ends the father and the son. Because the parents are married and it's just the father and the mother. And at the very end, the father and the son kind of get into a little like, your life's so easy, and then it just. I think it actually they do the split screen and the little magic effect, and it just ends.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's from the 70s, so it's like the end, and the movie's over. No credits.
I wanted to tell you, not long ago, it was playing on E, and one of the arguably best and morbid lines when Anna says, "Yeah, it's a shame our father died." How quickly I got over him. It was edited out of the TV version. I was like, is that a little too much? Kind of how Disney Plus will take their own reign and change things. I was like, that's so weird. Because I think that line is so horrible and funny that it was took off of the playing on TV.
And it's kind of not a throwaway line, but it's there. It's something that you remember.
But yeah, even though my husband died, how quickly I've been able to get over it.
Oh my God. Okay, so the next morning when they're kind of figuring all this stuff out, Scott and I are like, is it irresponsible for Tess to be like, you have to go into work?
That's what I was saying.
So I said we were having this conversation going like,
do you think like Tess like a licensed therapist
stay home?
Is that very ethical?
Well, she can't let Evan.
It's Evan. It's all Evan's.
I think Evan's just gonna have to deal.
Yeah. Evan's
but like, is Evan gonna be like jumping off the side of a building? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but then we wouldn't have gotten the montage, which
so
we love.
The makeover.
The makeover montage.
Gosh, so good.
Tessa's makeover definitely gives us Chicago party aunt or your kooky aunt that lives in like Topanga Canyon or something.
Yeah, she makes her own candles. Mm-hmm. She dips candles and she'll offer you a hit of a marijuana cigarette, even though you're like 17, and she plays a lot of records.
Smokes Newports.
Have you seen that meme?
No, she doesn't smoke Newports. She smokes American Spirits.
There's a meme of Steven Tyler, and it says, "Why does Steven Tyler look like the cool mom who lets you drink in the house as long as you don't drive?"
Steven Tyler.
Bury that.
Yeah,
that's what you're making.
If you're gonna drink, I'd much rather it be here. But yeah, I love. Well, that was another thing too. So pre-makeover, there's a scene where they're just kind of having a conversation outside of school, and I was like, I think they wigged Jamie Lee. It's still short, but I think they wigged her, and then obviously the makeover hair is her real hair. I was like, yeah, she probably just cut it to a certain length and was just like,
I remember
make it a little bit more
so
momish.
Her hairdresser Sean James, he was actually on my podcast, and we got to talking a little about that. And he said something about if you look at the poster, they did add like
the
extra
poster's
to-
not really.
Right. But then,
They shopped some of it.
Yeah. But it almost makes. I mean, if that her real hair looks really good after the cut. If it's not a wig, I don't. Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, we get, classic Jamie silhouette.
Yeah.
Everything post H2O.
Yeah.
You posted something about Jennifer Lawrence having an H2O tattoo. Is that real?
Yes, but
I Googled it, and
it's to remind herself to drink water. So I photoshopped it and said Jennifer Lawrence has a tattoo that says H2O because it's her favorite film.
I was like, fool. I was like, I am Googling this.
No, that would be the reason I have an H2O tattoo. But no, it's just to remind her to drink water. Very, very memento of her. But I was sorry, we're jumping around. But you said the ending, her hair, that white kind of suit. Is that like a beachy thing, or is that maybe your second wedding? You don't do the whole dress thing. I thought that was.
I think maybe for
a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem seeing an adult mother with children in a wedding dress.
Right, yeah.
What am I, Miss Manners? Mm-hmm. But I don't know, maybe for a Disney movie, they're like, we're going to put her in more of a suit situation. Yeah.
Do you think the movie could have ended in the height of everything, or did it need the wedding? I mean, I don't know.
I think we need the wedding.
Yeah.
I think you need some sort of a wrap up with all of these characters and kind of a reconciliation, even more so with the band.
I guess it just made me wonder why couldn't the wedding have been the ticking clock? But I guess it makes it more believable that
sure.
I would miss a rehearsal versus yeah.
Yeah, it's just a button, really, because it is pretty quick. And we get to see Lindsay just shredding one more time with Pink Slip.
How do you think
with
Lindsay's
nip slip.
fake guitar playing skills are?
Lindsay's fake guitar playing skills.
I mean, she tried.
Okay. But her fake there's like levels of her fake guitar playing in this movie, which I kind of love.
What do you think is the best?
I think her best is when she's actually being Anna playing the guitar. I think
in the garage,
Jamie Lee's fake guitar playing is top notch. That shit is like chef's
I think
kiss.
there's a story behind
when
that.
she's back there, she's
oh my god, that
fucking
scene
killing
I
it.
think
is so
I think that they worked with
they probably got
a musician
lessons.
or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they got lessons. Mm-hmm. And when she pulls out with the solo at the just practice at the beginning of the movie, and it's like, okay, cute. When Lindsay is Tess in Lindsay's body and doesn't know how to play guitar, and then she's like, I unplugged you, just go fake it. And she goes out and just kind of bopping back and forth. I'm just like, this is the best acting that Lindsay's ever done in her life.
And the little kick,
it's cute. It's cute. I love it. I was like, this is good. This is funny.
Very Brady Bunch.
Yeah, it's funny. It's great.
Well, kind of by design, the Lindsay Lohan character of the daughter has the less fun to do in the movie.
Yeah.
That's just kind of by design.
When it's Tess in Anna's body.
Because what you remember about Freaky Friday, you think of Barbara Harris's really funny performance. Being kooky.
Yeah.
And Jamie gets to do that in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the daughter is just kind of the straight man.
Yeah.
I love how you'd think the Stacey Hank House plot would unfold with her saying, you know what, I'm going to go talk this out and things will be better. I love that it doesn't, because it shows a mom that, sometimes you cannot get through to these mean girls or these friends. You're not going to get that adolescent connection back. So the fact that Tess, who's been so put together, takes the test and says, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, Jamie Lee's not that old. You remember high school. Mm-hmm. Mean girls are a thing.
Yeah,
that, all this shit goes down. So it's like, even though that's like, she makes reference that they used to be friends.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like,
then the teacher thing. So there's a lot of little fun script things. Like, even when you find out she met Jake because he volunteers in detention, not because he was actually in detention. And those are the things that's like, sometimes your mom is not listening to everything.
Yeah. And sometimes when kids are like, oh, this teacher's out, I will never forget. My parents were in my first year of high school. My parents were like, how's school? And I'd be like, it's so boring. And they're like, it's school. You just pay attention. You have to do your homework. And I'd be like, it's so boring. And then they went to open house. and they went to they got our schedule, and they had to go to all the classes, and they got a little thing from the teachers. And the teachers were just like, hey, this is history, this is whatever. My English teacher, Brother LaSalle, was 200 years old, and she was like, he was so boring. She's like, me and your dad were falling asleep. I was like, I told you, he's the worst. He's 200 years old, and he's a Christian brother, and he teaches English, and it was terrible.
I had a 200-year-old teacher. He had tenure, so I remember one time he literally, it was like a creative writing class, and it's pretty horrible. Someone was reading a poem, and we weren't making fun of her, but my friend did something to make me laugh. And I remember he looked at us, he said, you two, I envy your friendship, but shut the fuck up.
Oh my
and
God.
this was in high school.
That's a good burn.
I know.
That's a good burn now.
Forget that. And I'm like, wow, I'm not even going to tell him because he owned me, and why would I, But yeah.
But yeah, sometimes, kids will say, like, somebody's out to get me, or somebody's being an asshole, or whatever, and parents are like, well, you got to learn how to, like, fight your own battles and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it just takes switching bodies magically from a Chinese food restaurant fortune cookie to teach your parents to listen.
And she's like, that was a college level analysis. And he's
I
like,
love that.
and how would you know? Yeah. And the guy who does the first call is so funny.
Stupid.
I know. He's like,
this
he's
pop
just
quiz.
kind of, bopping along or whatever.
This pop quiz of like asking these kids on the
If
spot.
I was a student in Stephen Tobolowsky's class,
Of these
and
readings
this was
of
the
Hamlet.
pop quiz, how fast would I be at the dean's office being like, bitch, you need to sit in on this motherfucker's class because this is rotted, his quizzes are stupid, and we're not learning anything. And he clearly has it out for Anna because I don't know what the fuck that's about. That was wild.
Yeah.
But it gives Tess Anna the opportunity to,
I like when they have switched and they're trying to say like, whatever the cliche, you could never last a day
Right.
with me, and she's like, yeah, I could watch. You're ruining my life. Like, I love that little like,
yeah.
poking fun at her.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the character of Jake, played by Chad Michael Murray?
Chad Michael Murray.
So
that little baby face.
I mean, I would have lost my damn mind if this kid were to have gone to my high school, coming to school on a fucking motorcycle.
Who does he think he is?
On a like that, and that is like a motorcycle. This isn't no like Vespa.
It's a Ducati.
It's a Ducati. I love that line.
It's a Ducati, which means that motherfucker goes fast. I don't know. It must be nice to be fucking rich. Your parents bought you a motorcycle, and
Hey, Pete, he works at a job though, so he makes his own money. That's what they're trying to tell us with the script.
All right.
I remember Chad Michael Murray being a thing.
I didn't watch Gilmore Girls till I was much older.
Well, he was on
One Tree
Hill.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
I never watched One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to think he was cute in this movie. I remember him kind of having a moment in the 2000s.
Did he generally have shorter hair?
Yeah.
It was just this movie was like that.
One Tree Hill was all short.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Short,
can't remember.
spiky,
He's in
puka
House of
shells.
Wax.
There's a picture of him going around in like gay Instagram lately. And it's him like shirtless with a puka shell necklace, like leaning up against like a kitchen counter. And it's been kind of going around, and it's just like, here's Chad Michael Murray in the year 2002.
Well,
You're welcome.
On the oral history, he said that his dad was so jealous of him that he got to kiss Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, sure. Chad Michael Murray is also one of those actors of the early to mid 2000s. Of that, he's probably roughly the same age as like Chris Evans. That I'm sure that they were going up for a lot of the same parts, but I could see Chad Michael Murray maybe reading for a Fantastic Four movie, or I mean, what's like other kind of big movies being shot around that time, maybe like The Island, and him just not getting the call back.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the picture that's been going around.
Oh my god! Yeah, that is
just like,
very.
Oh my god!
High school, 2003, Laguna Beachy.
Well, yeah, I could see him kind of going up for the big Hollywood roles and just not really like, just not
Just
really
not
getting
landing.
them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he made some good money off of One Tree Hill.
I love that
So-
his Baby One More Time cover is actually also on the soundtrack.
Oh.
He said he woke up a neighborhood because I'm sure it was like a night shoot or something like that. Yeah.
That's funny. I always forget about that scene. I like all the band name drop. All the.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they talk about the Hives.
They talk about.
So that's why, even though I think it's hysterical that Stevie Nicks, who's he? I'm like, Anna would have.
I think Anna would know.
That's what Scott
Anna would
said.
know who Stevie
You did
Nicks is.
say that, so
She
I would
dropped.
never-
I mean, she dropped the guitarist for the Rolling Stones.
Right.
So,
And that's the moment
yeah.
that made me think. But I love that line, "Who's he?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like Anna's a
he?
little more. She knows her music history.
Yeah.
I mean, I
yeah.
think that the music. I think it's aged well. It's not like these are bands that are lost to obscurity.
No, they're
of
not
everything
saying,
that they're talking
yeah,
about.
they love like Nickelback and like.
Right.
You
Train-
always
Train or
laugh
whatever.
about the White Stripes line.
Get a bass player.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because they don't like
No,
them. Right,
that's
or
like
they-
a if you know you know type of line.
The Hives, the Vines. She says the Breeders too, which I was like, that's a deep cut for Anna. That's like
I mean, Anna would be listening to like L7.
that's '90s music.
and the Breeders, though.
That's
She would-
90s music.
She would be
yeah.
listening to all of that.
That I would feel like there's that time where it's not old enough yet to be
Yeah.
like cool. It's just like that's like 10 years old. That's trash, mama. That's like stupid 30-year-olds listen to that. But yeah, she dropped the Breeders. I was like, work, okay. Yeah, funny moments. Get a bass player.
Totally off topic. This is the
Stupid
first
White
time I
Stripes.
noticed that on the table the cereal box said "Freaky Fruits."
I noticed that on this
and I had
rewatch
never
too.
noticed that.
You can go eat Anna's favorite cereal.
I mean, my favorite cereal.
Like I said, he has so many funny lines. I love when he's just like, "Mom's dead," Like,
Yeah.
just because it's Anna who won't wake up.
Those shots of them waking up are really well done too. They did like a rig, like the.
Well, Lindsay's
Like,
got the one
the
that looks
camera-
like it's attached to her.
It's like
Yeah.
attached to her when she's walking around.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
some like welcome for a dream shit. Right there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's Ellen Burstyn walking to the fridge. Yes.
Yeah, it's that. The door's gone.
But back,
What did she say about privacy or like
privacy is a privilege.
privacy is a privilege?
I never grew up in a household that had the door removed, but I remember hearing about it from friends, though.
I saw it on Roseanne.
I don't think that ever
Didn't
happened in
happen to
our
me.
household,
No,
ever.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty hardcore.
It's pretty hardcore.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, besides some of the representation, I've also seen nitpicks about the Chad Michael Murray, the Jake and Anna scenes with,
Sure.
and it's like we believe that that's
Wait, him with the
yeah.
actual Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes,
Sure,
like
sure.
just I mean
Yeah.
that kind of shot
Sure.
at the coffee.
Yeah.
But I love it because she realizes,
Yeah.
oh my god.
And I think
He's-
that Mark
he's-
Waters knows
He's a child.
And I think that Mark Waters knows where to take it.
Yeah.
Of that he doesn't take it too far.
Right.
Too.
Because even later on, Jake says, "It wasn't like that. It was just your mom was so cool. Like I felt some kind
Yeah,
of
I think
way."
he's playing it in a very like puppy love, confused
Yeah.
kind of like I don't know what's going on here.
It should-
He's not like I want to fuck.
Right.
Tess,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. It's just like an infatuation.
Yeah.
And it really should start to fall flat at some point when he keeps popping up, but it's so fucking
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
When
yeah.
he's like behind the bar and she's crawling down, and then at the House of Blues, she's like, "You need to go away." Like it's just like so he keeps stalking them.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's lines where she's saying, like, he's too old for you or whatever. And then it's like, there's a whole thing where she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, why are you in detention all the time? And he's like, I work here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wait a minute. How old is he? He is in high school.
I think he's like a
right?
senior.
Maybe he's a senior and just has some free periods.
So we're thinking Anna's a sophomore.
I feel
think
like
sophomore.
they look like sophomores.
Yeah.
I don't know that they
So yeah,
should be
sophomore and
juniors.
senior.
I mean, Lindsay's only I think a year younger. I mean, not even a year younger than me.
Well, Katie
Was-
in Mean Girls is a junior.
Was Lindsay born in
Right.
87 or
Right.
86?
I think she's born in 86. But yeah,
So
I
she,
was born in
she's one of
86.
those rare teens
Yep.
that we got in these iconic
Playing
films that
a
was
teen,
playing
yeah.
the actual
playing
age,
her age.
you know, yeah.
Which we love.
Lindsay, her career of that, this would have been a big deal for her because, I mean, Parent Trap was 98, a good couple years before this,
Yeah.
and I think that she had done a Disney
Life
made-for-TV movie, Life
Yeah.
Size and Get a Clue, so this is her headlining, like, a major movie, and there was probably just a lot at stake for her
Yeah.
career with this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Of that, I really have to make this role work.
And then in between this and Mean Girls was Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which some people love, and there's some cute songs, but I'd never seen it.
I was a little too old. I wasn't watching that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I also feel like I kind of missed a lot of the Mean Girls arrival just because I was finishing up high school and I just didn't have time for it.
Well,
so,
I remember my friend got a pass from we were in Macy's in the mall, and it was like, come see this. And I remember me already thinking like a film snob. I was like, this is going to be horrible. Because I mean, the trailer they kind of had to make it accessible. And I remember we got to see it early, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to change everything. I knew it was special. And then the reviews came out, and I was like, oh my god. And then that opening weekend, and it was just like,
it's really great to gauge Lindsay's performances from Freaky Friday. I haven't seen Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, but I would imagine that too. And then Mean Girls, of that you really see her come into her own as an actress at that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Of that, by the time she gets to Mean Girls, not even a year later, it's like, like she's fully. She's helping to carry that movie. She's
so good in that movie. Like, obviously, Rachel's amazing, and it's more fun to be the bad guy. But Mean Girls works because of Lindsay's. Yeah. You know, I'll say something controversial, like Juno, Easy A, like. Sometimes it's hard to really get on board with the sassy, smart-ass people that we're supposed to kind of feel bad for. But Katie, I really just you sympathize with her and you believe her plight. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense. But,
no, totally.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to believe that some of these people would actually be not popular or not cool or whatever. Yeah. But yeah. But hey, I mean, maybe she shouldn't have had success.
It's good to see that Lindsay looks like she's in a really
It was rough. It was so hard being a fan.
I would like to bring up the fact that today, as we're watching the movie, I pull up Lindsay's IG. And it is so perfectly curated for where she is in her career and her, I guess, comeback, if you want to call it that. She looks fucking amazing in every picture. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The like produced shots that are like photo shoots look great. They don't look like they're overly filtered out. The candids are good. She doesn't look like cuckoo bananas like some people can on Instagram, who will remain nameless. And then
leave Brittany alone.
And then the SpawnCon stuff, she's got stuff with like Crocs. Like she's got goods. It's not like corny, like play this like, mobile game or whatever. Yeah. Like she's got like she's got some for Crocs, which is like a good brand for somebody, her age or whatever. And but I think her Instagram looks great, and it's just like a good reflection of like, okay, this makes me feel like she as a person is probably in a good
no, for sure. Even I watched the Christmas movie, it was cute. Yeah. She's trying. I just think even if her personal life didn't interfere, it was just that's when she got that $7 million contract, which was such a big deal.
Right.
But think about it. I mean, Herbie might have did okay, but you got even Prairie Home Companion was cute, but that didn't do well.
So,
Georgia Rule.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you the story of when we were doing our Mean Girls.
That's right. I mean, you probably covered this before.
Our Mean Girls trivia. Of that, I had all these like trivia questions about the cast, and I was like, okay, I got a really good one for Lindsay. I'm gonna ask you this and see if you get it. What's the 2006 movie that she made with Emilio Estevez?
That's a hard one, and I remember nobody got.
No one got it.
Wait, give me a sec.
Brad didn't get it.
No, no one got it.
Knew and didn't want to say.
Mighty Ducks, Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, he directed it.
Wait, what? It's not I Know Who Killed Me.
All-star cast.
It's not I Know.
Of Helen Hunt, Sharon Stone, Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher.
Nobody saw it. It doesn't exist.
But I just thought it was really interesting. Bobby.
It's called Bobby.
Bobby. Like Gone to the Ages, no one remembers it besides me. And I remember that was a big deal for her too. Mm-hmm.
Is that about
it's the assassination?
Who killed John Lennon?
No,
just
Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy.
Where did I get that from?
That's the one you're thinking of. The one with Jared Leto, and isn't she in that too?
Chapter 27.
I don't know if
I feel like she's in that somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god! See, so
okay, I would like to talk about the Dottie Robertson show.
Yeah.
Oh,
played by Dina Spivey Waters.
Married to Mark Waters.
Waters.
Oh.
So
fun.
Tess
I'm learning.
goes on the show. Okay, first of all, a surprise talk show appearance.
Right?
All right, okay, sure, that's a thing. What if she's not prepared? I know it's her book, but it's like, give me some time.
When she says, "Hey, my publisher's worried that people won't know what senescence means," do you know what it means? It's like,
no.
Senile.
Can we?
Old people. Got it.
Got it. Can we talk about this? Are you there, Goddess Me, Margaret book cover?
Yeah. I love this.
What
I
is
love
going
this cover.
on? What is going on with this book cover?
I have worked at a bookstore. I have looked at covers from the New Age and self-help section. This is definitely
Real quick, I heard we all slept on that, and it's really good. Are you there, Margaret?
We watched it.
Oh, we saw it. It's great.
Saw it in the theater. It was
Loved it.
wonderful.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'll get on top of that. Okay, back to
I'm
back
rooting
to
for
Dottie.
I'm rooting for the Oscar nomination
Okay,
for Rachel McAdams. She's great.
Yeah. This looks like a print-on-demand cover.
There's books that have those covers, though.
I was wondering
Yep.
today, I work part-time at an auction house called Prop Store, so we get lots. I was like, where are the Freaky Friday pops? Where are Tessa's
I want that book.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do my research. I'm going to go back there on Tuesday. I'll be like, did we ever have anything from Freaky Friday?
There's a good shot of it just in the movie. You could probably get a good high def.
I'm sure
image and just
that book is
make
just
a
in
mock-up
like
of it.
Mark Waters' office or something.
Well, it's funny. We got a bunch of Gail Weathers fake books at work, so I
Love
thought that
it.
was so
Love
fun.
that.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you have a
That's
hardback
great.
of the Woodsboro Murders?
If we don't, we did at some point.
That's
So
cool.
I will look. Yeah, we definitely had Out of Darkness from Scream 4, which is
That's Sydney's book, right?
Yes. Can I just say I love that makeup artist? Just one liner. He's like, "No, please just sit still." Like, it's just so funny.
Yeah. She was trying to get something out of him. He's like, nope, not for me.
I love that line where she sits down and she's like, "Don't worry, I actually read this one." So funny.
You even called out that was Mark Waters'
Yeah.
wife as we're watching it. I was like, okay.
I love this actress. She was on 6 Feet Under. She was really good.
Oh.
Do you remember her on 6 Feet Under?
Have I heard of it?
Or
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
did you ever watch 6 Feet
No,
Under?
no, that's
Oh,
about the
funeral home.
Yes,
But she was just kind of a funny recurring character
Okay.
on 6 Feet Under.
I've watched the final 10 minutes because I don't remember why. Maybe because
I mean,
of the
everybody
song
did
or
at that
something.
Everybody
time.
talks
Yeah.
about
That Sia song was huge.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the IMDb for this movie, and the younger brother is a full-grown adult now. That's weird.
I think he might have been on the article a couple of days ago. No.
Oh, wow. There's his IMDb. Look at that.
I'm like, oh, he's
It's weird to see him not a child.
as like a full-grown person.
Oh wow. Pretty eyes.
I briefly remember Haley Hudson from stuff she plays.
the other friend?
She's the other friend. I remember her from Weeds.
Okay.
She was dating the brother on Weeds, I think on season 1.
I will say she has the worst line of the movie, if
Oh,
there
what is
is
it?
one. Aren't you like the maid of horror or something?
Yeah, she does
that
say
line
maid of
just
horror,
doesn't
yeah.
stick with
Sure.
me. I know it's supposed to be for a tween movie, but I'm just like, oh god, no.
They should have given that actress at least like doubles of other things to say.
Yeah. Let's see. I know we talked a little bit about the band and the fake guitar playing, but I did want to mention that when they are at the House of Blues, playing a full song, which is 3.5, 4 minutes long, not one person in the audience is like, that girl's not playing anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that somehow.
They're just
Just
like,
in
yeah.
time,
They recover
she
really
wins
fast.
the audience back. Yeah, yeah.
But she's just clearly that girl is just standing there.
But that's what
Looking
adds to
confused.
this. Yeah, but it adds to the suspense because everyone's kind of looking at her like, "What the hell?" And even Tess is up there in the balcony, so yeah, it's, she saves her in the nick of time.
Long enough. The song is long enough for Tess to come down to the balcony, make her way backstage. I'm assuming she has some sort of wristband. She's with the band.
Yeah.
You can pull the I'm her mom card, I guess. But yeah, I love that. I was like, this audience, they are drunk or stoned or something because they do not give a shit.
Battle of the Bands, man.
Battle of the
Have we
Bands.
ever been to a Battle of the Bands?
No, because they
Do
don't
these things
really-
actually happen?
They don't really exist. Only in TV shows and movies where the kids are in a band. But I like that it was for something. It was like, okay, this is for a spot on. They didn't even have to make it a real event. They could have just called it some random thing.
I was wondering if the guy that was announcing them was somebody at Kiss.
Yeah, Kiss. I don't know.
I bet it was.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I know K-Rock, when they do the Weenie Roast, they have a locals only tent where they would have local bands play. But they were usually local bands that would have like a song. that like Rodney at least would play. Like
They would at least have an album, and they were signed to someone.
or maybe not signed, but independently, like an indie band, but still like would have something that would go on. Like
I would have
in
loved
the
to have
scene.
seen a cameo by Rodney Bingenheimer.
If Rodney Bingenheimer was
He
in
should be in
Freaky
this movie.
I feel like he would really love. Like I feel like he loves Jamie Lee Curtis, and I feel like he would have really loved Lindsay too. He loves Annette Funicello. I think they're kind of in the same kind of vein.
We're talking about the kooky K-Rock DJ that would do like the graveyard shift on K-Rock.
Oh, okay.
Rodney Bingenheimer was the DJ on K-Rock that would play Sunday nights, very, very late at night. But he was the first DJ in America to play like
No doubt. Yeah.
He was the first
wow.
DJ to play like Blondie. He played,
So it's kind of like
the
at
Go-Go's.
at late night, you take a chance on
Yeah,
some of these.
and he would
Oh,
play
wow.
like these bands, and they would just a year after he would play them on his show, they would like break, you know. But he would have, and they would come in studio, and they would just. So K-Rock would have these bands just in regular rotation because Rodney started playing them. But Rodney has a very like '60s like mod kind of cool guy vibe. He also has a little creepster kind of a vibe too. Because
Yes.
he was the guy that always his girlfriend always looked the same, and
And she was always like 25 years old,
he's
right?
like 70.
Yeah.
And he would always have the girl. If you look at pictures of him in the 80s, look at pictures of him in the 2000s, the girl always looked exactly the same.
Oh wow!
But he always got older
he
and older.
Still
and older.
with us? No. Yeah.
I feel like, did Rodney die?
I think he's still
Did
alive.
we get sad when Rodney Bingenheimer died? Pause it.
Look that up.
Oh yeah, he's alive, but they canceled him, and that was the
Sure.
thing. K-Rock. They've been bought out several times, and the last big buyout was
Yeah.
CBS.
That was the one
And
where they
fucked
got
him over.
they got rid of like
They got
the
rid
morning
of, like,
show
half the-
host
they got rid of
Kevin
half
and
the-
Bean.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they really screwed over the station, and they fight like Rodney was going from like just like the late show, like 10 to 2 or something, and then he was down to like 2 to 3
Oh gosh.
on Sundays, and then finally they cut him loose. But he's a pioneer.
Yeah.
He's a little tiny elf man.
Kooky music
I
celebrity.
feel like
crazy
if you,
haircut.
like whenever I rent a car, I always pay because it's worth it for what's the
XM?
Satellite.
Yes, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
when you still get a dose of those kind of
Yes.
like classic.
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to a lady. She must smoke 10 packs a day. Like her voice was so like raspy and
Yeah.
and kind of hard to listen to, but she was just so wonderful. And
I mean, there's just something about like terrestrial radio, and it's like, okay, the Wango Tango thing that they are going to is Kiss FM, and I think they do Wango Tango nationwide. But Kiss FM is like the Los Angeles top 40 station,
Sure.
but there's a Kiss FM in New York City.
Yeah.
It's not. There's just like, or yeah, it's called Kiss FM, but I mean, it's just their version of it, and it's just the top 40 stations. And I think they do Wango Tango on the East Coast, and they just do it in the big markets that have the big top 40 station cover, hosts it or whatever. But yeah, it's just crazy because it's like you were saying, like Live Nation or whatever. It's like they're getting fucking like Britney Spears and like Drake and like Justin Bieber. They're getting like real acts.
Yeah.
This is a big show,
And I think it's sort of maybe evolved into iHeartRadio.
yeah. I think
That's kind of what it is now.
I think this is better because it raises the stakes. It's
Yes.
not like we're going to play the dance and they're going to choose which band is going to play the dance. Who cares?
And
you're
the
not
stakes-
you're not missing your mom's like
Yeah.
rehearsal dinner to play the school fucking dance. You'll
and the
miss
stakes
it to go play
and the
it.
stakes in the original, it's kind of weird at the end.
Oh, it doesn't
Of
really
that you
make
don't
any
really
sense,
know
yeah.
what exactly
Yeah.
this thing on this pond is.
And there's like a car chase and somebody's in like a
you
like
see the
a-
car get like cut in half.
Yeah. And she's in like a, what do you call it? Like she's like parasailing. Something.
Yeah, like a
Fucking
parasailing.
wild.
Well, I love how when they find out how they can change back, they don't really have a game plan, but kind of organically happens. Like, I love that moment at the rehearsal where like,
right.
well, we're obviously not turning back tonight. It's really kind of sad and sweet and kind of like, oh no.
So
Yeah.
that means that you have to fuck Mark Harmon then. Yep.
But she's like, if he loves him if he loves me like I think he does, he'll understand. So that's probably Jamie's best work. That scene does feel like it's delivered by a 15-year-old, and it's and he was a really great dad. Like, that stuff's just that's really sweet, and I think that's why.
Yeah, totally.
they're able to break the
Yes,
curse.
yes. So I like when they, like you said, when they figure it out, because they find the fortune cookies, or they find the fortunes, and they read them again, and they're like, okay, selfless act. We got to do this selfless act. And then they go and they do this whole like band situation at House of Blues, and they're like, well, that wasn't fucking it. If that wasn't our selfless act, we're still here.
Right, yeah.
Clearly this isn't happening tonight. So, it's interesting how they just kind of accept it. Like, this is happening. We are in each other's bodies.
Yeah.
Like, this is our reality right now.
And it kind of takes me by surprise that this movie ends on a wedding toast or a speech, which you see a lot in movies. But I feel like it works in this movie, and you don't view the scene as a cliche.
Right. It works
too.
because it's the magic that is actually happening.
And by the way, if I went to a wedding and it was catered by a Chinese restaurant,
We were kind of talking about that.
bomb. I would
I
be
know,
like,
right?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So, Pete,
That sounds awesome.
Outrageous Fortune in this movie share something in common. Do you know what it is?
Outrageous Fortune and
With Bette
Freaky
Midler
Friday
and Shelley Long?
share something in
That's
common.
one of those movies that was like always on TBS when we were little, right? 'Cause I remember her doing a split across the mountain.
Yes, she jumps
God.
The big
a jump split.
the big
Yeah.
jump across the cavern.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will play Hamlet.
You're not. It's not that Shelley Long did a Freaky Friday, is it?
Close though.
Well, no, I was
she
just
did. She did play the mom
Yeah.
in the '90s one, but
Yeah.
this movie is co-written by Leslie Dixon, and Leslie Dixon wrote Outrageous Fortune.
Okay.
We got to give a shout out to Leslie Dixon. I mean, she's written some of my favorite movies.
Have you done that movie?
We have done Outrageous
Oh,
Fortune.
wow.
Overboard, one of my favorite comedies. She wrote Overboard. Mrs. Doubtfire, she wrote Freaky Friday. She wrote the
Mrs.
screenplay
Doubtfire
for
looks good.
Hairspray, the musical.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie Dixon, I think that she's somebody, too, that was brought in as a rewrite to punch up some lines, and then she just ended up sharing a screenwriting credit. But
I was thinking
Yeah.
of the creator of All My Children, but that is Agnes Nixon.
oh no.
Have
Close.
you done Big Business?
Yes.
We have
Jeez, you guys.
Love Big
Over
Business.
200 episodes.
The Big Business was an early episode.
I randomly just had a flashback to around the Scream Queens era. There was a little pic going viral of Josh Peck kind of ogling Jamie on a red carpet, and
my God.
Jamie retweeted it. And he said, "What can I say? I'm a big Freaky Friday fan." And then she replied and said, "We should do a sequel where you're an old woman going through menopause and I'm a 27-year-old boy on Tinder or
Oh,
something
my
like
God.
that." So I thought that was kind of a funny
Oh my God.
response to him.
I lost my mind when I saw Josh Peck in the trailer for Oppenheimer. I was
He's
like,
the one
oh
who's
my
not in
God.
trouble, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drake is
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Jake.
Drake,
Okay.
Drake, I think, is the hot mess.
Okay, yeah. That's
Yes. He's going through it.
Josh Peck's in Oppenheimer?
He's the one that
Yes.
presses the button.
I didn't see it.
He presses the button.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was like an important dude in like in the whole Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer.
That's a big
that
deal to get
cast
past a Chris
is
Nolan audition.
Stacked.
But there's a lot of people that came from like Disney and Nick in it. It's weird, but they're getting a certain age, and they're gonna be in real movies.
Oh yeah,
now.
Josh Hartnett. Hello, right? He's in it.
Yes,
Okay.
Josh Hartnett is in it. Good for him.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
love a comeback.
he's Jamie Lee Curtis's son. H2O.
Yes, indeed.
My roommate and I, we have a little jar we put movie titles in, and she's never seen The Faculty, and she's been on a '90s kick, so I added that in there. That was one of the trivia.
That is a big anniversary this year.
Yeah,
25.
Jeez.
Oh, it came out in '98.
Yep.
Love
December of '98, Christmas week.
Love it. I want to give Tess her flowers because it looks like I feel like she has been rocking the short hair for a good few years of her life. And she comes down the stairs in this French twist
Oh, sure.
for the rehearsal dinner.
Oh, that dress.
She gives Anna that little tight
Anna's hair.
That little tight updo
is like impeccably styled. She's got the streaks working. The streaks are streaking. The twist is twisting. It's like looking perfect. Because at first, when she goes to school, it's just in a bun. I mean, not that a bun's easy, but well, I guess a bun's easy. But it's a bun. It's a little simple. And I love that line where she's just like, "You never wear these pants. They're so cute."
But that's right, because then at the concert, her friends are like, "We need to do something about your hair."
Yeah, it's up in this super fancy little chignon.
But no, I got confused. But yeah, Jamie as Anna, that dress like with the back,
yes,
and she looked
that's
so
a good dress.
gorgeous
Yeah,
that
yeah,
night. Yeah,
that's a good one too. Yeah, I love the way they style her when she's Anna. Like it's good. It's like it's age appropriate. She doesn't look crazy. She doesn't look like somebody who's trying to dress like a kid.
She doesn't look like Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock.
Fellow teens or whatever. It looks age appropriate. It looks good on her. The clothes they're not wearing her, But I think Jamie Lee is just a cool person, so she can pull off looks.
yeah.
But yeah, that is a good look in that black dress. They both look really good in that scene. I do also love too that her makeover look where she gets the shorter haircut. There's red in it, like they dye it, but it's like a darker, almost like a cherryish red, and then at the wedding they tone it. Okay, they soften it. It's a little bit more like an auburn.
You mentioned that they softened both of them.
Anna's chunky highlights. They're there as well, but they're a little bit more blonde and not.
Well, you're
as,
giving
like,
me
white.
at the interview we read a couple days ago. Apparently, after the test screening, you're making me wonder now. I remember some quote like, "We talked to Disney and they said, all right, here's a couple million. Go do what you have to do." Because I think at least the stuff with Grandpa and Harry was like a reshoot.
Okay.
Okay.
And they didn't even use it.
So that might explain a little bit of that.
They used a little bit.
Some of it.
Used a little bit of it,
Yeah. So.
Well, I also just figured they're back in their bodies. I know it's like the next day, but I figured, okay, this is a big day, so let's get a little touch up on our hair. But both of their coloring is a little bit softened. I mean, on Anna's, you could maybe explain that it was like finally like just brushed out.
Yeah.
But Tess's hair, it's a lot more like an auburn, more of a natural red, and her makeover, they like went in with black cherry.
I saw you pull up the poster. I just love all the press photos from this movie, like the promo shoots, like Jamie with the guitar, and they're just so fun.
Yeah, there's a good one of them on the stage at the House of Blues, and it looks like it's staged. But yeah, the
Yes. Oh
the plaid jumper.
Okay, I remember that one.
We love the plaid jumper on Jamie, and Lindsay in like a business suit with pearls.
It's very Aunt Sassy when they're doing the promo shoot for like room and board.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna need you to stand more in that corner and look.
She's like in Siberia.
Look disapproving.
Yes.
Okay,
You're doing model mouth too much.
I'm gonna.
I remember one time
I guess
stealing my
that's
friend's iPad and making all the backgrounds. Of that picture of Jamie.
Look at this one.
Yes, I love that
my
poster.
goodness,
That's like a foreign
that
poster.
pose.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Jamie, she's killing it in that one because the first one she's like on her knees, and then there's the one from the poster where she's just standing there looking shocked. But that one where she's like shredding. Okay, you better work.
She seems to still keep up with Lindsay.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
I've been seeing kind of stuff with them.
Yeah.
Messaging that they've been talking or doing some press for like the 20-year reunion or something. 20 years, oh my god!
But no, like I just thought the sequel talk was just little rumors, but no, apparently
it's happening.
It's actually like there's a writer. Everything.
I think that you can probably even wait another year or so that you could maybe easily explain that the Anna character would have a teenager.
Yeah, I mean times are different.
Yep.
I mean she's still her age. Lindsay just had a baby, so it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't want because Jamie Lee's got to be in there. She just have them flip again.
No, that's what they said. They said that the time lapse has made it work because a grandma trying to
because
make her daughter
because Scott's
parent
saying,
a certain way.
Are they going to have?
so she doesn't have to be a teenager.
Are they going to have Lindsay being a mom of like a teenager?
Correct.
Not a teenager.
No, like a baby,
like a kid.
Okay,
a
sure.
toddler. Maybe.
A toddler. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Yeah, because she's too young to have a teenager. Yeah, and not her flip with the teen.
Okay,
it's
so
her and Jamie Lee flipping again.
Is it going to be one of those things that the test character is going to be like being a mom, like I did it,
Right,
and
right,
like
right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there's a lot to explore.
is it kind of grandma remembering how hard it was to be a young mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we could write this.
I know.
Get Disney on the phone.
But it's funny you say that because that's what I was going to say. I'm not like this movie is wonderful and iconic and fun, but it's very simple that we are not going to be so hard in putting all of our hope into this sequel. Like it's just going to be what it is.
Sure.
Right.
We're not going to be mad if it's not going to be the same. But this movie isn't like life changing. Even doing the notes for this, like it's nice to just talk about a movie that just is. We don't have to do too much in depth analysis and what does this mean and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Watching this, it's not breaking any
But
boundaries.
because
but it's still a lot of
Hocus
fun.
Pocus did flop and it wasn't a hit and its life grew and grew and grew, that's why I feel like it was a little more crushing that we didn't have the original cast back and it wasn't the release that we anticipated. Like,
Sure.
I'm just saying, like,
Or
that,
at least with Omri.
I
Vanessa and Thora.
mean, that
Yeah.
gosh, that would have just been the dream. So with this, if we're gonna get them both back and it's a little silly, cute TV movie, whatever, it's gonna just be fun to see them again and just to have Lindsay and Jamie reunited.
Yeah, totally.
So we will be recording again when that comes out.
I do think give it a few years when Lindsay has kind of, a few years of being a mom. I do think that the major studio roles will come back for her.
Yeah, she's got an Oscar in her. It's coming.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely at least another chapter of her career that is major movies that aren't streaming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could still be streaming.
Yeah, because if anything, people were worried about, just contractually fulfilling your obligations when things were rough. And now, hopefully she'll be responsible.
She has that Irish Netflix movie, Luck of the Irish or something. It's with Jane Seymour. And I think it's going to be out later this year.
Oh, okay.
It's like her second Netflix movie.
Okay.
Because she booked 3, didn't she?
Yeah, I think
I think
so.
she
I
got
think that
3.
she at least has 2 in the can.
But I think the deal that she booked with them was for 3 movies.
Yeah.
So we got the Christmas one down, which we'll be watching every year.
Would you say this is your favorite Jamie Lee Curtis movie then? I think we may have discussed it.
Well, Halloween has to be.
Yeah.
It's definitely top 5.
Yeah, I think so too. That Halloween, Freaky Friday. I would love to know how close she got to that Oscar nomination.
I know.
Because I think that she at least was discussed on long
what?
lists
For what?
for this movie.
For Freaky Friday?
Yeah. She got the Globe. I think she was at least in discussions if you saw a list of
it's just
10
like
actresses.
True Lies. She won the
Yeah.
Globe, but that comedy drama divide, and people, and it's always harder to get in with comedy. So yeah. I remember just being really proud and happy for her, and seeing her in the audience in white, looking gorgeous.
I used to. Do you know what was?
Who'd she lose to? I don't know. I think I might have looked it up.
For
what? The Globe for
Freaky
this?
Friday, yeah.
it was Diane Keaton for Something's Got to Give.
Oh, okay.
And she would go on to get the Oscar nomination. Do you know one of my my earliest exposures was to Jamie Lee Curtis?
My Girl.
It was My Girl. Yeah.
A lot of people say that.
Mm-hmm. I used to really love her character in My Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I go back a little further than that.
Anything But Love.
Anything But Love was definitely an early Jamie Lee
Is that
Curtis
streaming?
experience for me. I don't believe
I've
it's
looked up
streaming
the DVDs.
Yeah, my sister and I used to love it. My sister loved Richard Lewis. I loved Ann Magnuson. She was on that show.
That's her first. That's her first Golden Globe too.
Oh, okay.
And she won for TV.
And then I think she won a TV movie called Nicholas's Gift or something.
Okay, maybe.
Like an Emmy. Oh, that might have been Emmy, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I know everyone's like, she's going for EGOT now.
She's coming to that
She's
EGOT with the
coming,
bear.
yeah.
They're gonna get her that it's gonna be guest.
Yeah. And then I saw
An Emmy?
An Emmy.
Okay.
Yep,
her and
for the bear.
Tiffany
Yep.
Haddish were saying they want to do The Odd Couple on Broadway or something. So that could be Jamie's.
We went to
Cute. I love
we went to
it.
the Haunted Mansion. She's fun.
I've
Madame
heard
Leota.
things about the accent. People had some issues.
That's
so
fine.
She played.
Oh, I didn't even care about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Some people were just too much.
No, and
It's-
the costumes were really
She
fucking cool.
she looked like she was having fun.
Yeah. But how's she going to get her Grammy?
Audiobook.
Yeah, right. That's what Viola
Memoir.
Davis did,
She,
right?
she only writes children's books.
Yeah.
No, yeah. but she can be chose to narrate something. That would maybe
That's how
work.
Kate Winslet has hers.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get her on there.
But yeah, I guess, I mean, yeah, like, what's your favorite, Jamie? It's like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, H2O. No, but
Sure.
I would say Halloween, I mean, besides Halloween H2O, Freaky Friday and True Lies are very deserved, iconic moments.
You know,
on their
I
own.
hadn't seen True Lies until like this past year.
No.
For some odd reason, I missed it. I
Isn't
have
it
no idea why.
incredible?
I thought it was okay. I think it was a
weird.
movie
It
that.
was weird.
Sorry. Isn't she incredible?
She's great, man. Yeah,
I mean,
like
hello,
she's great.
She did her own stunt. She was hanging from that helicopter.
I was hanging from
all
there.
of those
From that pole.
all of those action sequences are all of those action sequences are great. Her character development is really fun. But I think about that movie that I think kills it now, just because we have a country has just changed a lot.
Oh, no, for sure.
I
There
think
was-
it's all the terrorism stuff.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. I was
Which I
always
think-
so excited for True Lies 2
Yep.
because it was talking. That movie was huge. And it was like post 9/11, it's just not funny
I think
anymore.
even James Cameron is.
Yeah.
has also
well,
mentioned
everyone's
that.
waiting
Yeah.
for a Blu-ray. Like, it's almost like bastardized in a way. Even unfortunately, Elijah Dushku has come out with claims that
Yeah.
she had some issues. So yeah, there are some things shrouding it. But I will say, as someone who is not an action movie person, that movie is accessible to everyone because it has all the ingredients that you could possibly want: the romance, the comedy,
And you get
know.
the whole like romancing the stone aspect with her character of just kind of getting thrust into being an action
Yeah.
hero, being a housewife.
I don't know if you heard this, but one of my favorite stories she said about Arnold was, Arnold was huge at that time. He was the headliner of that movie. He watched it and called James Cameron and said, "I think Jamie deserves to be before the title card with me."
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
And she said that was just like, that just brought her to tears because how amazing. And then I watched it not long ago and it says Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, True Lies.
Yeah.
And she was not huge then. So to get that.
she was, but it was a different time. I mean,
you have Halloween, Fish Called Wanda, and My Girl.
Trading
If you're gonna-
Places.
Oh,
Trading
yeah, of course,
Places.
Trading Places was a big deal.
fucking huge, and Blue Steel was
Not
it.
huge.
It was it, bitch. I remember that shit. I'm older than you. I remember Blue
But
Steel was
I don't
huge.
think it was a success.
No, it wasn't a success.
But Catherine Bigelow would go on to do great things.
yeah, yeah.
I remember, I didn't, of course, discovering her, I didn't know what Blue Steel was, and I was looking at like a Fangoria or something.
I always just
Yeah.
remember
And there was
the video box for
Yeah.
Blue Steel.
It's
when
pretty,
I was a kid.
it's kind of a fucked up movie, right?
It's a fucked up movie.
I think I watched it too young because I was like, sneaking Jamie
Yeah,
movies,
absolutely.
and yeah.
But yeah, Trading Places was.
But I'm just saying, True
big
Lies
deal.
was her biggest movie.
Yeah.
ever.
I mean, everybody just assumed that it's the closest that Jamie's ever going to get to an Oscar was her
Yeah.
winning the Globe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she used to say, until Helen Tasker, Laurie Strode was my most important role. But now she's kind of retracted that. Not because there's anything wrong with her Helen Tasker role, but it took her a very long time to realize what Laurie meant to people.
Sure.
It was, you have to distance yourself. As
Well-
Randy says in Scream, Trading Places is when she went legit. She had to break
had to show her
free
tits.
and get rid of
Yeah.
her typecasting. But it's been a beautiful kind of full circle.
I remember
her
like the
discovering-
bonus features on one of the Halloween DVDs, and I think it's on everything. It's that documentary, and you can tell that she kind of resents having to go to these cons and do all of this press for a horror movie that she made at that time over 25 years ago. And it's kind of interesting of just kind of her coming full circle of just kind of fully embracing that crowd.
It's funny you say that because apparently, if you ever had a Laserdisc player, there is a
We have one in the bedroom.
You do? Okay, so there's a
We have one.
there's a criterion of Halloween, but it was only ever Laserdisc.
They would
only-
would
yeah.
only do.
Yeah.
I looked it
Criterion's
up on
Laserdiscs.
eBay.
Yeah.
It's $800.
Yeah.
So I did my sleuthing and I found the 1994 commentary on YouTube. I'm going to listen because I'm like, I want to know what 94 Jamie had to say about Halloween.
Did they repurpose any of those for the DVDs?
I was going to say.
They sometimes do.
Not that one.
Yeah.
The Criterion one was
DVD.
only on the Criterion. That might be a legal thing or what.
Because like Alien did that. The Criterions of
the Francis
first
Ford
two.
Coppola one for Bram Stoker's Dracula, that Criterion.
But there was no other
repurposed.
Jamie commentary until the 35th anniversary of Halloween, her and John. So there was 94 and then 2000 and...
Wow.
I think I'm also...
So is the commentary? It's the commentary is on YouTube. It's probably just like a black screen.
It's John, Deborah Hill, and Jamie, but they were all recorded separately.
Sure.
But then put together.
Yeah, sure.
On it. So I cannot wait to listen to that.
Yeah, because I think that the one that I've heard for Halloween, just her and John, you could tell are talking back and forth and doing it. I think that I'm also confusing this with interviews that she did for The Fog. Where she's just like, I really don't like this movie.
I was shocked they got her back for that.
She's just like, I really don't like this movie.
Maybe that was for
but
John and
I'm
her mom
really
was in
good
it,
friends with Deborah and John.
Yeah.
And that's why, I have good memories of doing it.
I don't like The Fog.
I love The Fog.
I've only seen it once.
I love The Fog. It gets better and better with each viewing.
Okay.
She's not great in it, though.
If I was going to pick my favorite from the non-Halloween 80s era, Prom Night would be my favorite. I remember not loving Terror Train, not loving The Fog. Prom Night's not great, but the disco dancing and the music. And
she has some pretty fierce scenes at the ending of that
And then there's
movie.
an Australian one called Road Games that she did with Stacey Keach, which is worth seeking out.
Have you seen her Love Boat episode that she did with her mom?
I've seen clips. She's gorgeous.
Love Boat's all on Tubi.
Yep.
And then what about Mother's Boys?
Mother's Boys.
Other...
I always remember in the video store, Randy's video store, there's a giant poster of Mother's Boys.
Yes. That was definitely intentional.
And Scream,
Very
yep.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Well, this has been Talkin' Jamie.
So, this is just our big...
And I will assign
big Jamie Lee
everyone
episode.
listening to go and watch the Heidi Chronicles.
Oh my gosh.
We'll
sure.
meet back here next
Yep.
week. Because we can talk Jamie all night here on this show.
You're right. She's had such an interesting career.
Really. You can see the ups and downs when you go look at
So again, you were like, what was she doing before Freaky Friday? I remember when Taylor of Panama got going, I was like, yes, maybe this is another Oscar moment because it's, Pierce Brosnan and what's his name?
Or at least kind of recreating something that, like,
and there was a
True
movie
Lies
called
did.
Daddy and Them that went nowhere with Billy Bob Thornton and Ben Affleck, and she was in it. And Drowning Mona.
I remember her in Drowning
Can
Mona.
we talk about Drowning Mona?
I watch A&E. I know, like, how these...
Little Gay Me. You have Nev Campbell, Bette Midler, and Jamie Lee Curtis.
I used to love Drowning Mona.
Hocus Pocus, Screaming Halloween. Like, oh my God.
Drowning Mona does not hold up.
Oh, it never held
It's
up.
terrible.
But I'm just saying,
I used
it's
to
such
love
a
that movie as a
shame that
kid,
you
though.
had this cast.
And also, that is early Jamie doing kooky characters of that. I'm gonna create this kind of this
It was kind of like
this
a Tess
kooky woman.
wig.
Yeah, she's wearing a mullet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So really, again, I will say, Freaky Friday, I truly think saved her from going into oblivion.
Sure. Are you thinking of Jeffrey Rush in
Yes,
Taylor
I'm
of Panama?
sorry. Yes. But I remember in that movie, I think
John Borman. Oh my God.
But yeah, her character didn't
What a
have
crazy
anything
movie.
too big going on.
I mean, she's third billed.
Yeah, I just.
But no, I know what you're saying.
And then Beverly Hills Chihuahua wasn't a big part, but that was a big hit.
Yeah.
But You Again, I was excited for, but it was pretty. That was pretty horrible.
And they were trying to recreate something that Freaky Friday did with Disney, and it didn't quite work.
But there's a toxic dance scene sequence, so I thought it was funny. They got a Britney song on Freaky Friday and a Britney song in You Again. Her and Betty White. They're like doing the trapeze kind of like whatever when you hang on the scarves and stuff.
Oh, sure, like the silk.
Yeah.
What does she have coming up?
Well, the Borderlands has been in post-production forever with Cate Blanchett, so that's another big.
Oh,
could
is that
be big video game?
Video game, yeah.
Is that the
Ty West? No, not Ty West.
Eli
Eli
Roth.
Roth.
Because Eli Roth and Cate Blanchett are like tight.
They're
They're
like
like
they did the house with the clock
they're
in
like
its walls, right?
They're like good friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That's funny. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. That has been in. I feel like I've been hearing about.
I'll just
that
say
for
something
so
cute.
long.
I went to the Everything Everywhere sneak opening at the Landmark in Santa Monica. God rest in peace. It's closed now. And it was supposed to be Michelle, but Michelle had COVID. So Michelle was going to be there for a Q&A after the movie. And Jamie was like, Mama's tired. I'm coming to just talk to y'all because Michelle's sick. She said her agent called her and was like, there's this weird script. Have you ever seen Swiss Army Man? And she bluntly, yeah, I'm a huge Paul Dano fan. And he was like, oh, okay, because, no, I'll do it. Wait, what? She's like, I've seen Swiss Army Man, I'll do it. Just like she was saying that because she was a Paul Dano fan, she was familiar with the director's work, and she was just like, just sign me up. That sounds fun. And I just think it was so beautiful to see that and see that she, not that she didn't think the movie would go anywhere, but that it was just kind of like a, low budget.
Sure, I'll do this.
Silly, and then and then she gets an Oscar. Like, that's just so cool.
And I'm sure that she was thinking at the time, it'll be a week's work max.
Right.
But little did she know just how physical that role probably was going to end up being.
Yeah. But, because, I mean, you would think that script would be a maybe turnoff to some people. So I think because she was familiar with them, it was new.
Well, I'll leave you all with this. My stepdad goes, he loves watching movies, and he rewatches movies all the time. And
especially a movie that's rerun on cable.
Especially a movie that's rerun on cable nonstop. He is going through a Captain Marvel phase right now.
Really likes Brie Larson.
Because he loves Brie Larson. And I will never forget, we
I've never heard
bought,
someone say they love Brie Larson.
They love Brie Larson. My stepdad loves Brie Larson, and he thinks that she is just so good in Captain Marvel. We bought the VHS of True Lies, and I thought that he liked a good Jim Cameron, Arnold action movie. And he's driving me to school, and I was like, oh, I watched True Lies. And he goes, did you like it? I was like, yeah, I really liked it. I was like, I like Jamie Lee Curtis. And he said, she's built like a brick shithouse.
Oh, goodness.
That, I mean, it was all about the
Is that a good
the
thing?
striptease. Did you see her body?
It's pretty slamming. Yep.
That was the body.
That was the body. And I mean, how old was she in that? Probably
35.
Yeah, mid-30s.
She said it was her
35.
35th birthday that they
Wow.
did the helicopter. I know. It's like we said before.
Younger than me.
35, 20,
I mean,
30
she
years
is
ago
a
was
headmistress of an exclusive boarding school in Northern California in Halloween H2O, and she is my age.
I think what was refreshing about most celebrities like to tell your diet and this and that. She was like, no, 2 weeks before that shoot, I just stopped eating. Like, or carrots only or whatever you got to do to look like
very
that.
her.
So does your stepdad like sleepover as much as I've started to like sleepover starring Brie Larson?
Well,
Did we talk about this yet?
Well,
We
I don't
talked
think
about
he
this,
likes
yeah.
Brie Larson at that age. He just likes her in a good, tight-fitting superhero suit. But let's not get into the Brie Larson weed.
Sure.
We're cutting late on this one.
All right.
You guys will edit a lot of this, right?
Dev, yeah.
Okay.
Dev, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So you have your comeback podcast.
Yes.
We mentioned before
I cannot
at
wait
the
to
top
have
of the
you
show
on.
that we are on the very last episode of season 2. It has taken me almost a decade to finish the I mean,
Guys, don't let that sway you. Please watch.
that was just me being lazy. And I'm getting really into it.
But hey,
on this
you
rewatch.
purposely wanted to feel what I felt. The
Yeah.
9-year difference. Because the second season
true,
didn't come
yeah.
back for 9 years.
And I watched the first season almost live. I think that I didn't watch towards the end live, and then I caught up later on DVD. But I was with that show since the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I was living in a small basement apartment that did have HBO, and I remember the summer of 2005 when the comeback came on. So I have almost completed my comeback journey. I will report back when we
When are
finish
you
this
watching the
last
finale?
episode.
Tonight?
Maybe.
I mean, we can. Yeah,
we can.
watch it tonight.
Yep.
But why don't you tell our listeners about your show, where they can find you, and give them all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really real time
Ongoing,
after show
yeah.
since the show's been off the air for a while. But yeah, it's just been a really lovely journey to talk about this niche cult hit that may still have another comeback for a season 3 one day. So if you like mockumentary style and you like cringe comedy and you like Lisa Kudrow and you want to know that she has something even better than Phoebe Buffay on her roster,
I think it's her best work.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch and then listen to me, and then you'll be able to listen to the TV shows that made us gay edition that I end up
Absolutely.
doing.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's awesome.
And
We can't wait to
maybe
be
I will
on.
be back for Little Children that we've been talking about.
We have been talking about Little
forever.
Children for a
We've
while.
got to do it.
I know that movie goes into some dark places, but I was obsessed with that movie when I was in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
we'll return to this
I'll find a way
conversation
to make it
later.
funny. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on again. Well, yeah, maybe we'll do Little Children, but we'll definitely have you on for something in the future.
Yes.
But until then, we bid you adieu.
Last thing, guys, I'm wearing a shirt that says, "Could you chill for a second?"
Just like
Chill for a sec. Love it.
oh my god.
Oh, and you're also wearing your
Oh my gosh, Disney has this limited 20th anniversary edition enamel pin of a fortune cookie with a fortune sticking out of it that says Freaky Friday. It is so cute. It slides in and out. You hear that? Boop, boop. Anyway, they're really jealous. They thought I was
Go to
bringing it
Downtown
them. I'm
Disney,
like,
guys. Check one out. All right. Well, we'll see you later, man.
right, bye.
Thanks for coming on. Bye. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Freaky Friday. Go watch it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
It's streaming.
it's there.
And the original.
Yeah,
And
we did both this week.
Yeah, and one of the weird Disney Plus remakes.
We did not watch that.
We did not watch that, but
Pete,
yes.
I think it's that time.
Time for Patreon shoutouts.
Let's hear 'em.
I think you're right. Let me scroll over to our Patreon page. We'd like to give a great big hello and thank you so much to all of our wonderful patrons, including Brett, Tren, Daisy, Patrick, Kelly, Chrissy, Steven, Jake, Desiree, Laura, Thomas, Brenna, Jessa Rabbit, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Mark, Jackson, Millie, Ted, Benny, Jermel, Melanie, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Muffy, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emily, Melly, Aaron, Jessica, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and also Rufino. You guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being patrons. Every donation counts and goes directly to keeping this show up and running and ad-free every week. If you go over to patreon.com/movies that made us gay, you'll find all of our Watch This commentaries are over 30. There's an entire season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars where we did recaps for every episode. And we're going to be continuing with television that made us gay.
Yes.
There's going to be some upcoming TV episodes.
Probably going to be around the time this recording comes out, too.
Yeah,
this
it should be.
episode.
So check that out. There's lots of different tiers for you to check out. And if you, if a monthly donation is not the tea for you, you can do a one-time donation. If you do $10, that's the highest. You'll be able to get everything for 30 full days, and you'll be able to listen to all of it at your leisure. Lots of fun stuff on there. So check that out. We'd also love it if you would rate and review the show.
We got a new review, Pete.
What?
We did.
Sweet.
From Misery Love Bates.
Read it.
Entitled Love This Podcast, 5 stars. It's like being in the middle of a conversation with your gay friends talking about movies where you just take in the juicy info and perspectives. Excellent podcast. Thank you, Misery Love Bates.
Aww.
That's very sweet of you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah. If you are an Apple Podcast listener, or even if you're not an Apple Podcast listener, you can go to Apple Podcasts and you can write a review. If you're an Apple Podcast listener or a Spotify listener, you can also give us a star rating. So smash that 5th star all the way over to the right. Give us 5 stars. If you're perusing through the Apple Store or a Best Buy, find yourself a laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pull up the show page and give us 5 stars there too.
Or if you're just at the Apple Store. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just open it up on any of the Macs.
Yeah, absolutely. So do that. We are on every podcast listening platform there is practically. We're on some that we don't even know that we're on. But head over and do that. And if you want to follow us on all the socials, we're on all those as well. We're at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram and X.
X. It's just not for porn.
Well, with a name like that. And also Threads.
Threads. Yep.
Oh, but also on X where...
MTMUG Pod.
Yes, at MTMUG Pod on X. It's just Twitter.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding? Let's just call it Twitter, guys. If you want to follow our personals, feel free. My name's Pete. I'm at Peter Lasagna on Instagram and X and Threads.
I'm Scott Youngballer on Instagram and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. Well, until next week, our lovelies.
Bye.
Bye.